Hello all of you, welcome to the channel Digimon Explained. I'm your host Jesse, and in this video and starting from now on, I wanted to give a bit more attention to the franchise at large, which includes locations, objects and the characters. So not just the digital monsters, as interesting as they may be. And I'll tell you about this sudden change at the end of the video. For this episode, we are going to talk about a character that will bring us to the beautiful country of Vietnam, a country where my childhood friend, who is still my friend to this day, comes from, and a country I admit I would love to visit someday. But first, let me give you the context. In Digimon Season 2, shortly after the Christmas of 2002, wild Digimon appeared all over the world. And so the DIGIDESTINED set off on their world-saving mission, starting their Grand Digimon World Tour. They were dropped in various places around the world to reinforce the international DIGIDESTINED with sending the Digimon released on Earth back to the digital world. You know, we've been explaining Digimon for years, and this channel has, I believe, over 300 videos, right? It shouldn't come as a surprise when I tell you that Digimon can be extremely dangerous for human life, hence why it is important for the DIGIDESTINED to escort wild Digimon back to the digital world. If in our planet we would walk in town and suddenly see a towering Greymon, then you know we might pretty much come to the endgame. Now, I absolutely adore the Digimon World Tour arc because if it wasn't clear by then, we could finally confirm that there are way more DIGIDESTINED in existence who aren't only Japanese, which is a shocker. In fact, there are DIGIDESTINED scattered around the globe, which means that we could, if the Digimon developers would ever take initiative, get stories of DIGIDESTINED from around the world. Wouldn't that be crazy? You want to know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of one of my favorite series called The Kids Next Doors, a series about a global paramilitary organization composed mostly of kids under 12 who battle evil teen to adult tyranny for other kids. My favorite was number 1, the stern workaholic leader of Sector V. I've been called a workaholic myself, so I kind of felt represented. Now, the Kids Next Doors is truly a global organization because they also have members in all continents on Earth, may it be Africa, Latin America, Asia and more. Heck, they even have members in outer space. The DIGIDESTINED, on the other hand, do not form something resembling something remotely close to an organization. However, in their world tour, they had to work as a team as the whole globe was pretty much threatened. And during the World Tour arc, we were given the example of multiple DIGIDESTINED. For example, we have discussed the Indian DIGIDESTINED named MINA. Link towards that video is in the description box. MINA is but one member of the DIGIDESTINED of India, meaning that whenever the Digimon developers feel like giving us more of that Indian namaste, there could be quite a few Indian DIGIDESTINED out there, each of which potentially with their own background story and partner Digimon. In Vietnam, we have the Vietnamese DIGIDESTINED named Dien, who is partnered to GORILLAMON, a Digimon we have discussed in its own video, the link towards it is in the description box, and a Digimon who has been largely left unexplored, just like its human tamer, Dien. This character has been so unexplored that the Digimon Wiki and Wikimon don't even have a description of its personality or background story, something even Mina had. So Dien has been completely left in the dust. One thing I believe the Digimon developers did well, aside of giving him an interesting Digimon partner, is giving him the right appearance. He couldn't be more Vietnamese, as he is carrying the Non La, or leaf hat. It's a type of Vietnamese headwear used to shield the face from the sun and the rain. Can you imagine that these hats have been worn since ancient times? I'm talking real ancient times. An image of the hat was carved on the Ngok Lu bronze drum and the Dao Tin bronze jar, around 2500 to 3000 years before Christ. So our friend Dien is carrying Vietnamese history on its head. Unfortunately, that's about the biggest summation of his character. I'd go as far and say that Dien was nothing more than being the side character of the side characters, as the only thing he did, along with his Gorillamon, is lead the Digimon to Kowloon Park in Hong Kong to meet up with Easy and Carrie and send them back. That's it. So when it comes to Dien, there shouldn't be much to talk about normally. However, don't forget that I always find a thing or two to say. In a world that is becoming smaller and smaller due to interconnectivity, and with a franchise as big as Digimon, with various Digimon that took their inspiration from so many countries, and with confirmed DIGIDESTINED spread around the globe, it would have been extremely interesting if different nationalities would get some highlights. They don't necessarily have to be the main characters, but at least let them have the luxury of being explored a bit more. You see, in the video where we discussed Mina, I've been overwhelmed by the comments which were so heartwarming. Shark Witch Meruno wrote that, as an Indian girl herself, Mina made her a lifelong Digimon fan. Mary Grace Oangurin is wishing that Indian culture and more culture was more represented. And Pritvir even says that he probably would have to wife this one. This is a good one. So these are but a few of the many comments which shows how a person can feel connected to an entire franchise via representation. And there's a sense of irony here because, while many claim for more representation, in reality, unless you tell me otherwise, Digimon has got to be the franchise that has the most representation of all, not necessarily by the ethnic backgrounds of the DIGIDESTINED, but again, by the Digimon who have, let us say, African origins, Latin American origins, Asian origins, and more. So, for this video, however brief it may be, I did make it in order to shed some light to Dien, who is an important character as he is a DIGIDESTINED, but is one who is in the background. Yet, despite being a background character, we all know that his potential is really there, knowing that he would represent the beautiful country of Vietnam. I'd like to wrap up the video with the following. In the Explaining Lopmon Digivolution Live video, Andres Marrero asked whether I was okay because the last bunch of videos might have felt a bit off. Even if I already replied to the comment, I think it's important that I speak a bit more to all of you about my life and what has been going on, so let us do that. Please don't worry, I'm going quite well, even if I also felt that there was a little something missing in the last videos I dropped. Now maybe it's just me, maybe nothing did change, but it's a feeling I had, and I think I might explain why I have that feeling. To be honest, I think I actually really underestimated my schedule as I'm involved in simply way too many projects. Most of you would know by now that I work for the federal government here in Belgium, so part of my time is going to be spent there, obviously. After work, I usually tend to go and take my mom at her job because my father, well, let's just say that once he's done with his job, he doesn't quite want to go outside anymore. So I take mom's safety on me, and after I brought her home, I go and hit the gym, which I do 3 times a week. The results have been great and I feel great also. I also resumed making videos on the other YouTube channel called Congo Network, where I explore Congolese history, religion, culture and politics. It's a lot of research, in fact much bigger than Digimon, and I have to be extra careful over there because those who are watching are sometimes historians or those who know well enough about the discussed subject. So it can quickly become my research against theirs, which can result in some clashes or me potentially being called a fraud, which hasn't happened yet, so rest assured. As I speak in French, I decided to translate all new videos in English, so it takes a lot of time to do that. From doing the research to recording my voice to the montage and the translation, I could easily lose half a day. I also have a partner who, well, while being supportive and loving, she has her own issues, as she admitted herself and as I'm seeing myself, and I'm facing those issues along with her. A relation requires work, especially when you try to build a whole future together. So there are a lot of projects I'm focusing on, and to be honest, I haven't even told you everything. I'd love to do that in a separate video. But it's possible that my attention is a bit divided, and I admit that I don't always sleep well, because sometimes at night it feels as if my body is still working, and so I start thinking about a lot of stuff which quite frankly aren't even that important or relevant in my life. So that could maybe be the reason why me, Andres, and probably many others have felt that I wasn't entirely in it in my last videos. And I want to get back to putting my soul into the videos. Digimon is still a franchise I'm extremely fond of. I love my work as a Digituber, and there are still so many things that need to be covered. When it comes to Digimon, I think we are always going to be scratching the surface because there's simply too much that can be discussed. So I promise that I'm going to adapt my program so that I can put my soul back into my work while simultaneously focusing more on the enjoyment rather than the result. And you know what? I'll start stretching my work throughout the week, which means that if it takes 12 hours to finish a video from start to finish, I won't spend the 12 hours on one day. I'll spread it around the week. That way I'll have more time to rest and feel more balanced and feel like I could put my soul more into it. So thank you, Andres, for asking. You've been a very loyal supporter of this channel and I really thank you for that, and I really appreciate your opinion a lot. I'm going to adjust my methods and I'm going to get back to putting my soul more into it. I'm going to get back to the Digimon fan arts out there, so get ready. Small question, can you do me a solid by following my Instagram page? The name is the following, OhanuJ2. I would need Instagram for large projects, even though I absolutely detest even this platform, but it exists, so might as well make use of it, right?